This is A-Game, an all-natural herbal dietary supplement formulated exclusively for men. Our proprietary blend was designed with one goal in mind: to improve your overall health, rejuvenating your vitality, energy, strength, and libido. Want to be at your peak performance in everything you do? Then bring your A-Game. Fast-acting, long-lasting, with no side effects.
Oh my God.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, how are we today? I need everybody to crowd on in because we gonna cook today, because I am circling back around to the Michael Craig story, because we're gonna focus on the actual dispatch call that I personally believe played a factor in how the cops understood the situation and thus how they reacted in that situation. Now, before I go in on this, I am not absolving the police officer that showed up. I think he probably should have did a better job discerning what was going on and not just assuming that the man was the aggressor because he was the man. However, we'll find in listening to the dispatch call that it was highly problematic. Obviously, it was a black woman who was handling the call. And obviously, Michael Craig is a black man. So you know it's going to be an attitude. Despite the fact that this woman is at work, she is a 911 dispatch. So that means people are calling with emergencies. And they emergencies to them, whether or not they emergencies to you. It doesn't matter if you think it's an emergency or not, or how you perceive their situation. You're not there in the situation with people, so you don't know what's going on with people. And this woman, we're going to examine her tone. We're going to examine the call itself. Now, I wasn't able to find the pure audio of the dispatch, so I'm hoping that she doesn't mind, but I am going to use clips from Pink Book Lessons, who covered it and who had the actual audio. And I'm pretty sure, at least I'm hoping, that I don't get a copyright for it, because a lot of times if I play the news clip, which was long, that kind of had bits and pieces of the dispatch call, they like to copyright flag it. And so they don't necessarily take the video down, but they demonetize it and all this other stuff to it. And I don't like that. So I'm first giving a shout out to Pink Book Lessons, who's done an excellent job covering this story as well for her audience. And so we're going to play a few bits and pieces from her video that cover the dispatch call. So you're going to hear a little bit of her commentary as well. With it, I wasn't able to skip past all of her commentary. And then the last part of it, I want you to listen to her commentary because I agree with her. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to get the likes up. So bam, 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 bam. We got to get the likes up. Bam, bam. We got to So we got to get the likes up. So everybody hit the like as you come in. This supports the channel. It supports the algorithm. When you are able to hit the like button, that means, that tells YouTube that you are a listener of mine, a subscriber of mine. You like my content in general. And this also helps the word to spread so that YouTube understands, oh, okay, well, the people who come to the live actually engage with the live. YouTube sees that as engagement. So they engage with the live. So if people are coming to engage with the live and not just click on, click off, that means it's safe for us to recommend it to other people who may watch similar content. So that's the whole purpose of clicking the like button. And that's why I asked for it so heavily in the beginning and all through the show, because it is a form of support to the channel. So if you are not able to monetarily support the channel, then your engagement here means so much to me as well. But for those of you who can monetarily support the channel, I greatly appreciate that. So don't be afraid to hit the super chat. Don't be afraid to hit the cash app. So with all of that being said and gotten out of the way, let's go ahead and get right down to the meat, because what we're going to talk about is how that undercurrent of contempt for Black men actually helped get Michael Craig shot. That's my opinion of it. That's what I believe about it. So, what I'm gonna do is I will go ahead and share the screen, right? And then we're gonna go over to Pink Book, and we are going to, now I might be skipping ahead a little bit so that we can get through the dispatch call itself. All right, so here we go.
Hello? Talk to the lady. You talk to me. Okay. Do you need the police, yes or no?
Right out the gate.
Now, I'm not going to listen to this part of her commentary. We're going to listen to her commentary a little bit later. But as you can hear, do you need the police or not? Okay, you are at work, ma'am. Ma'am, you are at work. I wish I would have gotten on the phone, because I used to do customer service, and that is so frustrating at times to do customer service. Them people really dangle off your last nerve. But at the same time, I'm at work, and you are to be professional while you are at work. You cannot tell these people or let these people know in your tone, in the way that you are addressing them, in what you're saying, how you're saying it. You can't let these people know that they are working your nerves. But you are at a 911 dispatch, which is a bit different than actually just regular retail customer service. These people, it's an emergency. What if something is happening and they can't speak clearly? It's not a calm phone call. They're not calling to see why their bill was so high so they able to talk. No. You don't know if this person is having a medical emergency. You don't know if they being chased. You don't know if they're hiding. You don't know what's going on the other end of that phone. So as a 911 dispatch, and from what I have understood, when we watched the George Floyd trial, and one of the dispatchers was on the stand, and they were talking about, if I remember correctly, they were talking about the training that dispatchers actually have to go through, right? And it's long and drawn out. It's not easy. It takes a minute for a dispatcher to get the hang of their job. I do believe it was the George Floyd case that I was watching, because I don't watch a lot of trials, but I'm thinking that that's the one where one of them days they were the 911 dispatcher was testifying. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and skip a little bit forward so that you can hear the rest of this condescending tone.
Hello? I need the police over here. My wife got a sleep on me on the bed right now. Yeah. Yeah. So okay.
At that point right there.
So now he tells her, my wife got a knife on me. She like, okay. Because it's not an emergency. This man's emergency is not an emergency. We're going to go ahead and skip forward. This is going to be about a minute. And I'm going to let that minute play all the way through. And you're going to hear some of Pink Book Lessons commentary interspersed. So just be patient. And then we're going to come back and cook this.
And what's your wife's name? And what's your name? Michael Craig. Okay. officers out here?
She told him you called already. That's not true, but even if he had called before, he's in a dire situation. Why would you respond to somebody like that?
You called already.
There was another phone call placed, but it wasn't Michael. It was his neighbor across the hall. His son ran to the neighbor's apartment, knocked on the door, and told her that his dad needed someone to call 911. So that's the first 911 call. From the neighbor, not Michael. But why is she wasting time even saying that? Like, he already told you what position he's in right now.
Make sure you answer any blocked or private numbers. The police are going to come. Your number?
Yeah.
Okay. Be looking at the police, okay?
Alright.
Okay, bye.
And my kids up in here, they scared.
How many kids you got?
One right now, right here at the house. The other one's going to school.
Okay, yeah. Be looking out for the police.
Yeah, she got the knife around my neck right now. I can't move. If I move, she don't.
I'm not sure what it was here.
Okay. So this is it. We're going to come out of this. Shout out once again to Miss Pink Book Lessons, because I agree with her assessment there. Okay. So when we just take a listen at the dispatch call itself, this woman is nonchalant. She don't care. She was about to hang up on him in the beginning of that call. And you need the police or not? Excuse me? Boop, ma'am. Of course I need the police officer. You didn't hear a bunch of kids laughing and playing in the background, so you couldn't have assumed that it was necessarily a prank call. And I would assume that a 911 dispatch, as part of their training and just as part of being experienced at the job, is going to be like, well, you know what? Let me try to use my discernment to see what's going on. It could be a prank call. It's not like people don't prank 911 or whatever. I don't understand the purpose of that, but some people do. A kid might do it, a teenager might do it, or something like that. But it's at that point that you have to use your discernment to say, is this a prank call, or is the other person on this line having so much difficulty that they are unable to really be clear with me right now? Now, I understand as a dispatcher, you need to have enough clarity of conversation to get the important salient details. Where are you? What's going on? Your neck, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff. Like, you need the clarity of the communication as much as you can get it to get an understanding and a proper understanding of this person's emergency situation, so that you can relay it to either the police or you relay it to the ambulance or the fire people. Okay? So you do need that communication. You can't just be on the other end hysterical and I can't get no information out of you as an emergency, because at that point I can't really help you. Like, I need to be able to get, somebody need to be able to give me some type of pertinent information that I can pass on, or else I don't have anything to give to the emergency responders, be they the police or the ambulance. So of course you need to ask some clarifying questions, even if a person is under duress or under an emergency situation. But at the same time, this was just condescending and disrespectful. Well, you need the police or not? I mean, I might need the police if you hold on for a second. You don't know what position that man was in, because he said he was on the bed with his wife with a knife to his throat. Now, she was, I guess, I don't know what she was doing that allowed him to call the police in the first place. But that's kind of besides the point. That's kind of besides the point of the fact that he was able to place a call. And from what Pink Book Lessons was saying about it, he had gotten his son to call. His son was no more than 7 years old. So this is a little kid that's being traumatized right now. Okay? And he don't know what to say to a dispatch. He doesn't understand, he understands in a rudimentary way what's happening. But he does, at 7 years old, you can't communicate that clearly. So it was up to Michael to actually say what was going on with him. And so when he said what was going on with him, she had a problem with that. Okay. Like he's lying or something. And that is what I really want to get down to talking about. This underlying, the way in which Black women have and are expected to regard and speak to Black men and treat Black men played a huge role in how she handled that call. Because had that been a woman on the other end of that line and said, my husband got a knife to my throat, I bet you her tone would not have been condescending. It would not have been dismissive. It would not have been nonchalant. She would have treated that with the urgency with which that situation would deserve. But because it was a Black man on the other end of that line, obviously a Black man on the other end of that line, about to get his life taken, and because he's not hysterical, because he know he can't be hysterical, because I have to convey what's going on clearly. And then I got to try to remain calm because I'm trying not to set this one off so she go ahead and slit my throat. And I'm also trying not to further upset my son more than what he already is by me being hysterical. So I don't have the room to be hysterical in any way, shape, or form. I almost got to handle this like this is a regular phone call, and it is most certainly not. My life hangs in the balance, and that man's life hung in the balance. And that dispatcher and the way she handled that call has a lot to do with the way responders receive the information, so that they don't go into the situation completely blind. That's the purpose of the dispatch. The purpose of the dispatch is not only to route the call where the call needs to go, but also to convey the information from the call to the emergency responders, and properly with the right amount of emergency, the right amount of intensity, the right amount of, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta hurry because this is what's going on. This person called me, said that their grandmother was having what sounds like a seizure. This was the second one. It's a dire situation. You gotta hurry. You know, the address is blah, 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 blah. They're on the 4th floor. And this, okay. So you are relaying the actual information, the facts, the points. But you are also relaying as a dispatcher the urgency or the lack of urgency of this situation. Because every time somebody calls 911, it's not really a life or death situation. Sometimes they even have to reroute you. Well, you should call 311 or whatever. This is not a police emergency, okay? And sometimes it's like, okay, well, nobody's in any imminent danger right now. You can even ask, is anybody in any imminent danger? Is anybody hurt? Is anybody after you? Is there active shooting, or is there an active, you know what I'm saying, attack going on? Whatever. If they say no and they don't give you that energy, then you can transfer that to the emergency responder. Okay, it's not a life or death threatening situation, but you know, they had an altercation and they want the police to come down and handle it. Whatever. Because there are lots of different reasons, there's levels to it, why people call the police or want police presence to where they are, depending on what's going on. So the reason why I'm going into all of that is because she likely relayed her nonchalant, laid back, this isn't a big deal attitude to the police officer. She might even have unwittingly or subconsciously placed a seed of doubt in the mind of the police officer. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if she can be like, well, what you mean? Okay, well, what's your name? What's your wife's name? Well, okay, and she was trying to get off the phone. Okay, but look for the police. Okay, well, just look for the police. We'll just look for the call. You know what I'm saying? That man might need you to stay on the phone with him so that there is a recording, okay, of what he's going through. Now, I don't want to hang up. You got to stay on the phone with me because this one is snapping. Snap, crackling, and popping. Okay, and I might die on this phone today. So somebody gonna hear the recording of what happened. Okay? We are not gonna leave it to speculation. I do not want to get off the phone with you, ma'am. Please stay on the phone. And I know that it can be harrowing for a 911 dispatch. I can just imagine how sometimes those situations may be nerve-wracking, but you chose that line of work. And that's another thing. Let me get to this right quick. Why do black women, some of the most non-sociable, antisocial women on the face of the earth, always getting into jobs where they dealing with the public? If you know you are a world-class itch, okay, and you know you antisocial, and you know you don't talk to people really, really well, and you know you don't handle other people's personalities, and you know that you lack empathy for other people's situations and things of that nature, you really don't care about what people are going through. Why do y'all always get the very job that you running in the 50s, 50, 60, 100, or hundreds of people a day, either on the phone or in person? Y'all always get these jobs when y'all got to deal with everybody, but then you got an attitude with everybody. Can't nobody get right with you. Can't nobody have a bubbly attitude or come to you with positivity or anything like that without you raining on the parade because of whatever going on with you. You got a whole attitude at work. Y'all always bringing negativity to work. A whole negative attitude because your baby daddy broke up with you last night. That ain't nobody's problem. You still got to clock in to work and answer questions about how these people's Comcast bill is so high but it's outage. You got to answer that question with professionalism and with enthusiasm. And you got to answer with a chipper tone to your voice. Y'all be mad. You talk like you're talking to your kids or like you talk to your man. And this is exactly the tone that she took with Mr. Craig as he was trying to get her to understand the severity and the urgency of the issue. My life is at stake. And I felt like he was extremely calm considering the fact that his life was at stake. And that he ultimately lost his life that day between a combination of the contempt of a black woman dispatcher that didn't know him from a can of paint to the one he was laying with that was just crazy enough to stab him a bunch of times, probably as punishment for even calling the police and I'm gonna kill you before they get here type of situation. And then the icing on the little crazy cake was Zaddy coming in and just blowing him away. And that's how he meets his end. And that's a sad combination of events that ends this man's life. 2 black women involved. 2 black women and a police officer. Okay? An officer and 2 gentlemen that ended this man's life. And it was that low undercurrent of contempt that got it that way. She didn't care about what was going on with him because this is how black women see black men. They can't be taken seriously. Number one, black men are never to be taken seriously. A black woman can always mock and jeer at a black man. She can always poke fun at a black man. She can always be mocking and talk crazy and overtalk and, try to clown him and all this type of stuff. She's always at liberty to be able to do this with any black man, whether she know him personally, whether he's just in passing, whether she don't know nothing about him or she's been knowing him all her life. It doesn't matter what position. It doesn't matter how old he is or how young he is. It doesn't matter if he was supposed to have a position of authority over her or not. It literally does not matter what their relative positions are to one another. A black woman is always at liberty to talk crazy to a black man. including but not limited to dismissive tones and disrespectful tones. Because we can hear this all over YouTube. If you watch certain shows, you will see women having a whole dialogue with a man where she's disrespecting him. She's talking over him. She talking crazy to him. She's trying to clown him. You know what I'm saying? Just demeaning and degrading, just in general. And it comes so natural to black women that a lot of times they don't even catch the fact that it is disrespectful because they're so accustomed to disrespecting black men. It's routine. It's not abnormal. They do it. They watch their mama do it. They watch their girlfriends do it. They watch their aunties do it. They watch women on TV do it. They watch Love and Hip Hop do it. Everywhere, literally everywhere around black women, they get to witness how other black women treat and talk to black men in this sort of get out of my face, little boy type of tone whenever they don't want to hear what they got to say. You know what I'm saying? Or when it just don't matter what's going on with you. We quick to call him boy. You know what I'm saying? A grown man. That man was 61, probably old enough to be that woman's father. I don't know how old she was, but she didn't sound old. And she talking to him crazy. I consider it talking to him crazy because that was a very unprofessional call. The way that she handled that call was really, really unprofessional. But what we're going to do right now is we are going to take a real quick commercial break, and I will be back with more of my perspective because we're going to dig into this after these messages.
See, wherever I go, stay ready, stay alert, always prepared for whatever. I see you. There's a seat right here. The seat from all angles. I'm ready. It's time to get down to business. Game time.
Hi, honey. I know you just made it to the library, but love of my life, my hero, my lion, you forgot your A game. So come home, take it, and then you can go and conquer the world, black man. Oh, and one more thing. Would it kill you to just wear some socks? I'm just saying. Love you. And can you bring home some milk?
Oh, man. She be killing me. Okay, I'll go back. I'm gonna get my A game. I'm not putting them socks on. I'm good. I'm fly. I'm fresh. I'm gonna stop at 7-Eleven and get some milk.
All right, so we are back, everybody. So I'm going to need everybody to come on back in. And bam, 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 bam. You got to get the lights up. Bam, bam. You got to, You got to keep the lights up. See, I even gave you an extended version. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, so come on back in, Crimsonites. We are back. Let's go ahead and dig into this because I'm going to continue on as to what that undercurrent is, why she handled that call like that. See, it wasn't only the unprofessionalism that a lot of black women like to show up in their job, especially these, what I would consider low level, kind of low to maybe somewhat a little higher than low level paying jobs. Okay, they feel like because the job is low level or whatever, that they get to show up with the attitude. It ain't everybody else's fault that you don't have a skill set that gets you more than being a Walmart greeter. That's you. If you don't got a skill set that takes you out of the money center in Walmart, where you constantly talking about money orders all day and cash and returns, that's on you. That is not everybody else's issue. But anyway, here's the deal with black men. The way that our culture is set up as black women, we do not need to take black men seriously at all. We assume black men are always lying about everything. That because of the narratives, we assume that black men are just lying. That's part of not taking them serious. Because if he says something that we think may be too good for him, we'll figure he lying. Like if a black man say, well, you know, I make $300,000 a year. Boy, no, you don't. He automatically lying. Boy, no, you don't. So I'm going to dismiss you and degrade you and demean you in boy, no, you don't. In 4 words. I'm going to bring you down a few pegs. This is how we're taught to communicate with black men in the first place. In any situation, it doesn't matter whether it's the workplace or whether we call ourselves playing with him, just like the way Eva was playing with her man. Now, he is not black or is he biracial? Either way, she's taught to communicate with men like this. Black women in general, we're taught to communicate to men like this in this masculine type of way. Where we get to, whether we call ourselves playing with them or serious with them, we get to say whatever we want to say to them, and they're not supposed to have any reaction to that. They're not supposed to feel no type of way. They're not supposed to be like, well, don't talk to me like that or whatever. They're not supposed to have a standard of how they want to be treated and how they want to be talked to as men. Okay? Not only are they lying, they aren't having as serious of a problem as they say they are. That go along with black men are always lying about something. If he's saying he has a problem or he's saying that something is going on with him, black women are taught to quickly dismiss anything that he's talking about. Boy, it ain't that bad. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. It's not that bad because you're a man up. Excuse me. My apologies. We quick to tell a black man, boy, man up. I know you ain't tripping. Boy, it ain't that hard. You better be a man. You know, ain't you a man? Ain't you supposed to be a man? You doing more crying than me. He may not even be crying. He's just expressing, you know, this is difficult for me to do, or this has been a difficult time in my life, or this was a difficult task, or, you know, I'm having trouble here or having trouble there. We real quick to dismiss it. Boy, you a man, you figure it out. That's our answer. Okay? Black women we have been culturally brainwashed and trained not to care about a black man's life. We don't care about his problems. We don't care about his situation. We don't care about his well-being. We don't care about nothing that a black man is doing, being, or going through if we are not benefiting from that. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. End of the story. And this dispatcher don't benefit from that black man. So anything that he was going through, it just simply didn't matter. It just simply did not matter to her at all. Which is why she handled it the way that he did, the way that she did. And I think the only reason that she kind of lightened up at the end of it, or I guess was trying to take it a little bit more serious, was because she was hearing him direct his son to actually go open the door for police. So there's something going on. But he already told you what was going on. But since black men are liars and you can't really believe nothing that they say, no way, then she wasn't really taking it seriously. And here are some more underlying issues to this. Let's just say for a moment she did take it seriously that his wife had a knife to his throat. She's supposed to have a knife to his throat, and aren't black men the property of black women? Just like her children are? Especially if he married her. So if she's got a knife to his throat, bad, so sad. That's number one. And number two, he deserved it. He must have been doing something. She probably called him cheating. He probably was beating on her. Blah, 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 blah. And the knife was to his throat. And for black women, this doesn't mean anything. That's not a big deal. That's not an emergency. That's, a slave master reprimanding her slave, ain't it? That's what I thought. And we know that black women across social media, as we have seen, will advocate for the killing of a black man. They will do it. If a black woman is doing the killing, they will advocate for his death. Y'all remember that video about maybe 2 years ago or so where it went viral, where that woman ran over that man. She hit him with her car, ran over him. He was laying in the parking lot dying. She took the fender of the damaged vehicle and was hitting him with it as he lay dying in a pool of his own blood. And because she was hollering something about cheating, it was only a handful of black women that was like, that's wrong. I don't care what he did. Most of the black women across Facebook, across YouTube, all of that good stuff, they were advocating, well, you just can't play with people's emotions, and cheating, you get what you get when, you cheat on people. And, I guess it ain't right for her to do that. But what do you expect if you gonna play? 18 years, that's a long time, to be with somebody and then cheat. They don't know the story, had no background as to what was going on, but yet and still, when they saw a black woman attack that man and kill him on camera, it's basically a snuff film, they advocated it. They was cool with it. A bunch of black women, it was thousands of responses across social media that were in agreement with her killing that man. So we know that they will not only advocate when a black woman attacks or tries to kill or attempts to kill a black man, they justify it also. Well, what was he doing? What was he doing that made her act like that? What was he doing to her that made her snap? Going back to the video I was just talking about, that a bunch of women was like, well, you don't know, she might have been getting abused the whole time. Just put a whole abuse narrative on that man, and then nobody even know that man. Nobody knew that man. And I don't care if he was cheating. She ain't the first woman, won't be the last one to get cheated on. And what you do is, if that's a deal breaker for you, let it break the deal. You go your way, let him go his way, and everybody have a happy life. That's what you do. You don't take vengeance. And a lot of black women advocate vengeance upon black men. And they don't see nothing wrong with it. This is why that wasn't an emergency to her. When he said my wife had a knife to my throat, oh, that wasn't no emergency. Boy, bye. If she take you out, you probably deserved it. I'm not, whatever. Okay, and not to mention just the general attitude that she was at work with, ready to hang up, smart mouth, being negative, okay? No willingness to help, no willingness to get a clear understanding of everything that was going on before she dismissed it. And what we have to understand is that this is a programming for black women. This is a programming right along with that strong and independent programming. This type of condescending, the way we communicate with black men as if they are nothing, that's part of that I don't need you, so you're nothing to me type of situation. That's part of that. And it's a brainwash and it's a program. Because what else do we see on these programs, television shows, you know what I'm saying, things that's based on reality or things that's completely fiction? We always see black women talking crazy to black men, and black men are expected to not say anything. They cannot combat it. They cannot, you know, say, well, don't talk to me like that, or raise up and say, no, I don't want to be just like. Black men are supposed to take abuse, basically. They supposed to. Just like that clip of Tahiri and Vado. That was about a year and a half ago. They was on some type of marriage counseling or some kind of little reality show. It's always these reality shows. And she had been harassing that man all day. Physically violent with him. Y'all know how hard Granny Smith apples are. Took them apples and was blazing him at point blank range in his face. About 2-3 times she was blazing him with them apples. You understand that? Tahiri had that Project aim. She had that Cabrini Green aim. You know, them little kids out of Cabrini Green never miss. Okay? They be worse than little, you know what I'm saying? They could be in the major league as a pitcher. The way they don't miss. And she was blazing them apples in that man's face. And then when they had to sit down and talk about it as a group, the reason why Vado got up and collared her the way that he did was because she had engaged in that behavior and then blamed him. Well, he made me act that way. That is classic abuser talk. He made me do that. Look what you made me do. You made me get up and hit you because you were doing and saying blah, 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 blah. And then I had a reaction, but I only had that reaction because of you. And so therefore, I can't be responsible for what happens after that. And that's the general consensus of black women to black men. And don't tell me Tahiri not black because she's an Afro-Latina and it is what it is. She identified as an Afro-Latina. Okay? And she looked black. So I don't want to hear none of y'all get real technical about bloodlines when we start talking about how black women do. Okay? But it's a programming. Getting back to that. It's a programming that black women have undergone for generations, and this is how we communicate with our men, as if they are little children that need us to yell at them and need us to, you know what I'm saying, have this little quick-witted banter with them and over talk, you know, like a little kid. And even worse, like a non-human, to talk to them as if they don't have a full range of understanding or emotions or any of that. We basically treat black men as subhuman. And it's in the culture now. Okay? This is part of the biology now because black women have been convinced to believe that she's superior to black men on a basic human-to-human level. She's the human, she's the person, and he's the object. She's the human being, he's the human doing. She's the one with the emotions and the thought patterns and belief systems, and you can make her feel some type of way and you can affect her and she's affected by things. Black men are never supposed to be affected by anything, no matter what it is. No matter who is hurting him, no matter how he's hurting, there's always that element that black women have. Well, suck it up, buttercup. Because nobody, and the reason why he got to suck it up is because nobody cares about what, you know, the human doing, the beast of burden is doing. Nobody cares that the load is heavy. When you load up a beast of burden, you putting as much stuff on that horse's back or ox or whatever it is. You putting as much stuff on their back as you think they can take, and you will only know if they can't take it if they fall or if they don't move. Then you will know, oh, wait a minute, this must be too heavy. You know, the horse won't move. You put it on a mule, the mule won't move. You try to pull it, you try to push it, it won't move. It's too heavy. You gotta take some of this stuff off and then I'll walk. Okay? And that is how we black women have been brainwashed, and that's biology. That is biology. When we start talking about when we start talking about how you feel, what you think, how you think, that's something that's happening on a biological level. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the chart before you, this is the biology, culture, and environment chart, okay? One influences the other. However, what I'm talking about right now is just how black women feel about black men. Black women culturally, because they've been brainwashed, and a brainwash is biological. Programming is biological because it's psychological, okay? So psychological because it also covers morals, core beliefs, right? So your psychology, your mind is part of your biology. And in the black woman's mind, she is made to believe, and it is reinforced through cultural programming, through mass media, through television, movies, so on and so forth, that she is inherently better. She's better than black men on a human level because she is the human and he is not. He's about 3/5 of a human being. Just like Zadie said in the Constitution, she has the same outlook and the same thought pattern as Zadie does about black men. And her status over black men is definitive. Okay? So then that affects the culture and back and forth. The culture reinforces the programming. And then the environment plays a role in it because it punishes black men more than black women. This very case that I'm talking about right now, Michael Craig was the victim and died and was killed by somebody that come from an institution. The police and the legal system and all that kind of stuff, that's part of the environment, which is comprised of the institution. You understand what I'm saying? So all of these things coalesce together to end Michael Craig's life and so many other black men who enter into these relationships or interactions with women that feel automatically and inherently that she's better than him. And so therefore, when you are feeling superior to somebody, you can do anything to that person, especially if you dehumanize them. That's how people go to war. That is how governments convince soldiers to go kill other people that they don't know. Because you got to dehumanize them people to the eyes of the military. And this is not a shot at soldiers. But in the eyes of the military, that enemy combatant can't be a human like me. They not. Which is how I'm able to bring myself to raise my gun and shoot that individual. Now, of course, it does come to a point where if it's war, then it's a firefight. I'm shooting back just because I'm getting shot at. You know what I'm saying? I really couldn't care less about whatever I think you over here doing. One thing I do know is you're shooting. So we gonna square that away, and then I'll think about your humanity later on. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I see bullets. I feel and hear and see bullets, whizzing by me, and I could be hit by one of them at any time. So I'm on, it's a dog-eat-dog world at this point. I'm sorry. But generally speaking, that's how you get over there. And not have your whole military turn tail. You actually go fight. And black women have undergone the exact same type of programming. Black men aren't quite as human as you. So therefore, when they're not as human, you got to do what you. This is why black women feel so at liberty to say things like they don't care about him, and what did he do if he get killed or whatever? Well, what was he doing? Because black men are automatically the criminals in the situation. They're automatically the aggressor here. They're automatically the perpetrator in a situation. If we hear about a black man getting shot or beaten by police, the first thing that we want to know is what was he doing. There's no presumed innocence for black men, and black women don't presume their innocence either. I don't care if he her son. She doesn't presume his innocence. He go when the wagon come too. This dispatcher did not presume that Michael Craig was truly innocent and that he was really the victim. Right off the bat, not having to hear it and go on this long journey of conversation, but it's right off the bat. As soon as he told you, listen, my wife got a knife to my throat, and if I move, she gonna kill me. There's no presumed innocence. I bet you anything it ran through that dispatcher's head for what you do. But she just knew professionally she could say that on the line. And what was you doing? She must have caught you cheating. And then we'll have a narrative all ready to go about what it was that he was actually doing that can justify a black woman either going upside his head or outright killing him. These are the types of things that go on with us. And we're going to have to individually turn ourselves around in order to collectively reverse this culture. And that's where truth comes in at, because only the truth corrects all errors in the mind. And that programming is an error in the mind. Black women are in error. Black women are out of control. They are out of order. When something is out of order, that means it's not working properly. Okay? That means it is in a state of chaos, or it is not in a state of functionality. When you go to, you're out in public and you have to use the facilities and a note on the door says out of order, you know not to go in there trying to use that, because it's not going to do what? Function the way that it's intended to. And you don't even want to deal with anything that's not functioning the way it's intended to. And black women do not function the way that we're intended to. We're intended to function like feminine women. And we don't do that. Collectively, as a whole, we do not do that at all. And the way out of it is to examine yourself individually. Go through your life. Go through your relationships. You know if you're being a piece of crap or not. You need nobody to tell you that. You know if you're being a piece of crap to people. You know how you deal with and talk to the black men in your life. Is it the way you would want to be talked to? If they did the same thing, would you be okay with it? This is do unto others as you would have others do unto you, 101. If you can think about it and repeat it back to yourself and say, well, if they said that to me, would I like it? And the answer is no, then that means you shouldn't be saying it. Especially you shouldn't be saying it and feeling like somebody else can't come for you for it. That's old, dead, and sniping. You just get that out your mind. But if you're the type of woman that, values the black men in your life, then I say you're on the right track. And if you're really valuing the men in your life, what you want to do is you want to get them some A game. Some A game, A game, A game. Okay, so A-Game is a male herbal solution with 21 wonderful herbs, no artificial ingredients, no sweeteners, no caffeine, just something to help a man with his vitality, his strength, his energy, and his libido. All right, so if you want to be part of the A-Game family, and ladies, if you have men in your life that you care for and want them on their A-Game, all you got to do is click the link pinned at the top of the chat. Keep the link pinned at the top of the chat and click it for agameherbal.com. And you can get a 10% discount using your code Kendra10. Okay? You can get this box of awesomeness delivered to you ASAP. I want to thank everyone who contributed via Super Chat, everyone who hit the likes, everyone who contributed via Cash App. I really, really appreciate you guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites. Hey, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.